this devlog, we'll be making an alien enemy AI with animations and weapons so that we can use it in maps, which we'll also make later in this video. Let's go! So I started off by adding an eye to the enemy, because last time we only had a red enemy, and because we want to have an alien, I gave it a big eye. I just thought that would also fit well with the slime pads, which also has one eye. And Tawheed Game Dev said last time that I could use Mixamo for making animations, so I uploaded my character and used Mixamo's auto rigger to rig the character, which is a really great feature. Then I, for example, selected this hit animation and brought it into Unity, and after configuring all of these settings, our enemy has a little idle animation and it looks like the enemy just breathes. But there are also other animations, such as this die animation. Now when you hit the enemy a certain amount of times, he flaps over and dies. And just as always with programming, things didn't really work that well on the first try. Why are you stuck in the ground? Why is sitting on his head? Why are there multiple aliens stuck inside each other? What is But currently the enemy isn't really doing much. He's just standing around and playing his hit animation and death animation if you hit him or kill him, but he currently cannot attack the player. And what's the purpose of having an enemy if he cannot attack you? So because of that, I jumped into Blender and made this alien blaster and gave it to the enemy. The alien now turns into a shooting alien when you are really close to him, and then he starts shooting at you, but he doesn't really turn correctly. I mean, he turns with you, but his head is not facing where the player is looking at. It's just a bit like on the side, which isn't really that good. But before I recorded this screen recording, what you're currently seeing on screen, he actually turned to the player correctly. But now this isn't working anymore, and I just don't know why. But I hope I can figure this out. And in the last devlog I said the following. In the next devlog we'll be adding in the city maps in the sky. So now we'll actually create these houses. So I opened up Blender and made this skyscraper model. Since this should be in a city in the sky, I just thought I'd make skyscrapers because they're easy to make and don't require that much detail. And then I also added a fence on top, and yeah, then brought in the model into Unity. And it took me quite a long time figuring out why the player doesn't fit through the windows, until I saw this. I've made a little test map with a single skyscraper to test out things, and it has this little fence on top so you don't accidentally fall off the roof. We can also go through a window here, and something is wrong. Why are the walls invisible from the inside? This is even worse than what we had before. But I made it so that you can actually wall run on the walls of the houses, which I think makes for some interesting gameplay. Of course, we need to do something about this bug, because it's really not that good if you're inside a house and you can just look through the walls. This problem also applies to, for example, this window here, because from the one side it's visible, but from the other it is not. I did a Google search and found out that the problem was how Blender handles objects. So I tried everything from backface culling, which made things look even worse, and manually flipping the faces in Blender, and for some reason it just didn't work for me. So I decided to create the houses with Unity using Probuilder, and this first model didn't really look that good. So I created this second model, which looks more like a skyscraper, and I think we can actually use this as a skyscraper. It doesn't have a fence on the roof, but it's just really hard to do stuff like that in Probuilder. But perhaps I'll make one on the future. Then I wanted to instantiate a bullet hole wherever you shoot at, and the first attempt didn't really go so well. But now I fixed that, and now you can actually see a little bullet hole where you shot at, so that makes like the shooting look even more convincing, and you can actually shoot at other objects such as box colliders, which makes the bullet holes fly around in the air, which isn't really that good, but this is actually really easy to fix. We just need to look if we have hit a ground object and not a box collider, it instantiates the bullet, and otherwise it doesn't. And then I started level designing the actual first level for the game, which is going to be a tutorial level. And as you can see here, I made these red spikes which kill you if you step onto them, because many games actually have spikes, and I thought, why not add that to my own game? And then of course there are the moving platforms, and they think that you need to duck under just to introduce the different mechanics to new players. And I also made this house, but later I removed it because it blocked out all of the light and it just didn't really look that good. And yeah, I just made several different parkour elements, which is just gonna be a tutorial level for the player to complete. For example, it introduces bounce pads and stuff like that. And yeah, this is the whole level. So first of all, there are these spikes that you need to go over, and as you can also see, I've improved the lighting a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's definitely an improvement to what we had before. And if you step onto the spikes, you die, and then later you can also respawn. There we go. Next, you need to get over this moving platform parkour thing, and after that you need to duck under this and take the grappling gun. And I've made a giant window here just so players learn that they can actually break through the glass, and there is some enemies that actually don't shoot at you, so players can get to know like the shooting mechanics. And actually we need to take this other gun, but I want to make a better weapon switching system so it's easier for players to swap between weapons. So if you have any suggestions on how we could handle weapon switching, please let me know in the comments down below. And then there are just some more grappling cubes for the player to actually, practice the grappling and not fall down just like I did right here. After this second grappling part, the players get introduced to the bounce pad, which as the name suggests launches them up into the air. And now at this point there are actually aliens that will shoot at you. Currently I've allowed the player to also be able to shoot with the grappling gun, which of course is only temporary and is not really the point of a grappling gun. And yeah, I've also made these new particle effects. I hope you like them. And at the end there are of course some wall runs, because wall runs are fun. In the next devlog I want to add hands or arms, because many people have pointed out that it just looks weird when weapons are just floating around in mid-air. And I also want to make some new maps and improve a few things, because there are always some bugs that you need to fix. Tell me in the comments down below if you have any ideas for a weapon switching system. Like if you liked and dislike if you didn't. Smash subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss the next devlog. And then I hope I see you soon. Bye.